next guest is also going to be a video
Yes.
sharing with us, but he could not join us either. But if you've watched our latest episode with our partners on the Oblong Box,
We call it our brother and sister podcast. And
yes,
one other thing I was going to mention about Mel, I do believe that they have a cemetery event and they're going to have Poe Pizza
Ooh, Poe
today.
Pizza.
So, yes, remember we had
Nice.
Poe Pizza.
That's right. I forgot. I don't remember many things. So
It's okay. It's
hey, but
okay.
it's
We
pizza.
liked it.
It got eaten. So
Yeah, Dewey's Pizza has the Poe
that's
Pizza.
right. I do remember now. That was some
Yes,
good pizza.
it was good. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. So back to our next guest.
Yes, our next videographer that's going to be joining us is our own one and only Levi Leland.
Yes.
He is going to be giving us the poem of To Helen, which was published 1848.
And it's the second version
yes,
of To
the
Helen.
second version of To Helen, because Helen happens to be very close and dear to Levi's heart. He does a walking tour if you're ever up in Rhode Island, and he puts together Edgar Allan Poe and his ties to Sarah Helen Whitman.
Yes.
So he is an independent Edgar Allan Poe scholar from the state of Rhode Island. I won't say the great state because it's small.
It's mighty. What is the Shakespeare quote?
Yes.
She is
mighty and small. I
little. She is little, or I can't remember.
Anyway,
y'all get the gist.
So yeah, he has specialized on Poe's ties to Providence and on Sarah Helen Whitman, who is the poetess from the Providence area, to whom Poe was engaged for a brief time in 1848. So she is one of Poe's women. Levi has created and guides a walking tour of Poe's Providence that had a successful debut in 2021. So it was post-pandemic or post-pandemic-ish, because I don't know if we've ever actually ended the pandemic, in my opinion.
Done.
So
it's done. It's
so
done.
when he's not studying Poe, you could probably find him sipping on an iced coffee like a true New Englander and exploring old cemeteries with his pit bull mix named Jenny Poe.
Cute.
Levi is an amateur artist, historian, writer, and anticipates being an amateur at most other things in the future. Hey, that's a good about, you know, we're all amateurs when we start out, no matter what we do.
That's right.
So to learn more about Edgar Allan Poe and Sarah Helen Whitman in Providence, you can go to Levi's website, which is just Edgar Allan Poe RI. Those are the initials for Rhode Island. It's all lowercase, so you don't have to capitalize. .com. Okay. You can also find him on Facebook and Instagram by searching Levi Lionel Leland.
Yes, alliteration.
Yes, he's got the triple L going on. And you can also find him with his Poe partner, Virginia Poe, who we'll talk about later. And on their Poecast, the
Beyond the Oblong Box. Yes.
So without further ado, here is Levi going to share with us To Helen.
Yes. So let's share our screen.
Yes, you're going to take it away.
We are going to double check our sound every time to make sure we are good. And without further ado, again, here is Levi.
Yay!
To Helen, written by Edgar Allan Poe in 1848. I saw thee once only, years ago. I must not say how many, but not many. It was July midnight, and from out a full-orbed moon that, like thine own soul, soaring, sought a precipitate pathway up through heaven. There fell a silvery silken veil of light, with quietude and sultriness and slumber, upon the upturned faces of 1,000 roses that grew in an enchanted garden, where no one dared to stir unless on tiptoe, fell on the upturned faces of these roses, that gave out in return for the love light their odorous souls in an ecstatic death. Fell on the upturned faces of these roses that smiled and died in this parterre, enchanted by thee and by the poetry of thy presence. Clad all in white upon a violet bank, I saw thee half reclining, while the moon fell on the upturned faces of the roses, and on thine own upturned, alas, in sorrow. Was it not fate on that July midnight? Was it not fate, whose name is also sorrow, that bade me pause before that garden gate, to breathe the incense of those slumbering roses. No footstep stirred the hated world, all slept, save only thee and me. O heaven, O God, how my heart beats in coupling those two words. Save only thee and me. I paused, I looked, and in an instant all things disappeared. Ah, bear in mind this garden was enchanted. The pearly luster of the moon went out, the mossy banks and the meandering paths, the happy flowers and the repining trees, were seen no more. The very roses' odors died in the arms of the adoring airs. All expired, save thee, save less than thou, save only the divine light in thine eyes. Save but the soul in thine uplifted eyes. I saw but them, they were the world to me. I saw but them, saw only them for hours. Saw only them until the moon went down. That wild heart history seemed to lie enwritten upon those crystalline celestial spheres. How dark a woe, yet how sublime a hope. How silently serene a sea of pride, how daring an ambition, yet how deep, how fathomless a capacity for love. But now at length dear Dian sank from sight into a western couch of thundercloud, and thou, a ghost amid the entombing trees, didst glide away. Only thine eyes remained. They would not go, they never yet have gone, lighting my lonely pathway home that night. They have not left me as my hopes have since. They follow me, they lead me through the years. They are my ministers, yet I their slave. Their office is to illuminate and enkindle, my duty to be saved by their bright light, and purified in their electric fire, and sanctified in their Elysian fire. They fill my soul with beauty, which is hope, and are far up in heaven, the stars I kneel to, in the sad silent watches of my night, while even in the meridian glare of day, I see them still, two sweetly scintillant Venuses unextinguished by the sun.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice indeed. Even got the Poe approval there for any of you that saw Poe passing by.
Yes.
He was giving his Poe approval for that also to Helen. So we
Yes.
also have Paula Sherlock joining us on chat. She was saying to Mel, down to earth, very enjoyable. So we
Nice.
enjoyed that too.
Okay.
Polly's given a heart to Levi, which we
Yes.
we give those snaps to Levi too for joining us and helping us out.
And
So,
his reading was absolutely beautiful.
yeah, he had the passion and romance
That
in his
Poe shares for Sarah Helen Whitman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it was a broken romance in the end, it still was a good rendition to show their shared infections, in my opinion.
And if you have not listened or watched our last episode, it was about Rhode Island for our Poe Places degree. We focused on Providence, Rhode Island, with Poe's visits there to see Sarah Helen Whitman. And we have a lot more discussion on that. Levi gives a ton of information about their romance and their meeting and all of the things.
Yeah, so if you're up in the New England area, please stop in Rhode Island, and he will give you more of a personal tour of
which
their.
I've done, and
Yes.
it is amazing. You go to so many different places, and Rhode Island, or Providence, I should say. I've been to other parts of Rhode Island, but Providence itself, it is a quaint city. Brown University is there, very close to a lot of the Poe places, the Athenaeum, which is probably my favorite place there.
Yep.
And then someone who did look up to Poe as well, H.P. Lovecraft, you can go walk by his what was one of his houses there too.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot going on in that area that many
for a
people
small
don't
area,
understand.
yeah.
Yes, but it's one of the oldest areas in
Mhm.
the United States that's still uh, popular, I would have to say, because
Absolutely.
I do love Rhode Island. It's quaint, it's small, it's
Mhm.
wonderful.
Yeah, I love the Narragansett area as well.
Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yes, it is. And if you go during the fall, you'll get wonderful fall foliage. It's
Mhm.
not 80-degree weather, so
Oh, I know it. It just it is amazing. And so one of the things I was going to mention while we're still in Levi's time slot, we're
Yes.
actually a little bit early, is the version that he read to Helen,
Hmm.
Poe rewrote in 1848, and the original version was written in 1831 about, I think it was Jane Stannard. I think that.
Yes. And we're going to share that one just so we can give you an idea to both two Helens because we want to
Yes,
be very inclusive.
absolutely. So, without further ado,
Yes.
would you like to alternate stanzas?
Sure. I'll be
Okay.
down with that.
All right.
So
I can go first and
go
then
right ahead.
okay,
You lead
so
off and I
so
will
this is the
follow.
original to Helen.
Yes.
Helen, thy beauty is to me like those Nicean barks of yore, that gently o'er a perfumed sea the weary wayworn wanderer bore to his own native shore.
On desperate seas long wont to roam, thy hyacinth hair, thy classic face, thy Naiad airs have brought me home to the beauty of fair Greece and the grandeur of old Rome.
Lot in that little window niche, how statue like I see thee stand, the folded scroll within thy hand, a Psyche from the regions which are Holy Land.
Yes, there you go. And so that is the first to Helen
Mm-hmm.
that was dedicated to, was it
Jane Stannard.
James
Mm-hmm.
Stannard? Yes, I want to
And
make sure I started to
yes,
say Jane Mansfield. I'm
oh
like, no, that's not the right person.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, over 100 years
yeah,
disconnect.
yeah.
But
Now, if he's hanging around today, it might have been,
yes,
but you never
and
know.
she was the mother of one of Poe's good friends, and just she was like a mother-like figure to
Mhm.
him, and he was engrossed with her beauty and
Yeah,
just her love. Just
and you can tell from that poem that he was paying homage to the Grecian days with the
Helen of Troy.
Psyche and all those wonderful things because
Hmm.
I mean he has Bust of Ballast and the Raven.
Hmm.
Bust of
Bust of Palace. Say that 3 times fast.
Well, I can't even say it once, much less 3 times fast. The Bust of Pallas,
Yes.
not the
Yes.
Bust of
Our
Ballast.
lovely Athena. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because that's a total different rendition there.
Oh
But
yeah.
yes,
Yeah. We're not going to go there.
so he definitely pays homage to his Grecian mythological, historical
Yes.
favor, I guess I
Mm-hmm.
could say.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good one. So that way you've got both two Helens. You have the earlier Helen, and then Levi gave us the latest Helen for Sarah Helen Whitman,
Yes.
who was not married to Walt Whitman,
No.
was married to a Whitman,
Yes.
but not Walt Whitman.
Exactly. Yes.
So
Don't get
just
that
yeah,
confused.
just wanted to make clear on that for those out there that it's not Walt Whitman that Sarah was involved with. It was someone
Yes.
else.
And again, go and listen or
Mhm.
watch our episode. We called it Poe Places, Rhode Island,
Mhm.
and we kind of titled it The Raven and the Rose for
Yes.
both of them because she did have a beautiful rose garden behind her house,
Yes.
which still exists today, and you can see that actually on the video episode. And the way Poe describes their meeting, well, his initial first seeing her,
Yes.
his reaction of her in the garden in this all white attire. She looked ethereal. The moon was shining bright,
Yep.
and she was, working in her rose garden. It is absolutely romantic, and that poem is just it is amazing.
Yes, and it would be more romantic if you actually were reading it or hearing it in the rose garden.
Yes,
So that's
absolutely.
something you could hit upon if you wanted to at a later date if you're up there in that area.
Hmm.
And as for us, we are going to take a brief break and show you some